next one. What do you want? What are you down for?
We're gonna do Build Kings because there's a lot going on in
Any other one?
Juju and My Hero, so we'll go.
Okay.
Go to Build King, which, just to get the ball rolling. I was really happy to see this chapter. To be honest, I was kind of waiting for this chapter because I feel bad always drawing the comparisons to Toriko, but they're there, so it's kind of impossible not to make them. You know what I mean? And it's obviously trying to rekindle all of that same feeling and ideas, right? Just in a different format. So
yeah, you're not wrong. Now I'm actually questioning this world now, man, because I don't know. Okay, so I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to go like step.
Okay, well, I guess the first thing is, so they've made it to the continent. This is going to be very interesting because this is a full-on city. This is kind of when, Komatsu goes to the gourmet world for the first time, or when they arrive at the gourmet headquarters or something like that. It's this very, impactful moment for both Tonkachi and Renga. And I think that's great because it's like their first true introduction to civilization. And it synergizes really well with you as a reader because you have no idea what is about to happen because you don't know what's going on either. So you're kind of learning alongside your protagonists, and that's kind of cool.
Like everything's massive. They're like catching fishes. No, they're not catching fishes. They're catching houses.
Yeah, that's what's kind of funny, right? Again, Toriko vibes because they had a very similar port, right? But it had crazy animals in it. But now this is all weird, building materials. So you're thinking, the one guy's like, I've got cement as hard as diamond, and you're like, what? Like, well, okay, again,
the diamond, like he put two words together.
Yeah, diamond and cement, and you're just like, okay.
Quick thing, did you notice the little cameo?
There's a cameo. Who did I?
Yeah. Oh, you missed. Okay, I didn't want to mention it when I was messaging you, like when we're gonna record. But so I'm glad I caught you here. Like,
it's the guy on the isn't it the guy on the page who drives the boat or whatever?
No. Hold on. On the same panel where the cement is hard as diamond.
Oh, yeah, is that Toriko? No way.
Yeah, Toriko and Komatsu, bro. That's them.
Look. Oh, I missed Komatsu. Oh, there it is. Oh, dude, yo. Yeah. So so is it the same world? No way.
I don't know. And also, I can't tell if it's like either a continuity or just a fun little cameo. Because also from his previous work, you don't know where he's from, but where what's his name? Kontachi says, "Whoa, everyone's here is so amped up." Little guy to the left, he's also from his previous work, previous than the one Toriko. So he's like the main character. Like he's like has a dumb haircut and a big nose.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, man, that's crazy. Yeah. That's absolutely crazy. I love that. Okay, so
I'm like, is this the human world? Gourmet planet? I don't know.
It's crazy. Well, maybe Toriko and Komatsu are on an international journey, or I guess journey. They ended up on the Build King's planet, and for some odd reason, that guy was there too. Anyways, or anyway, rather, sorry. Yeah, so you got the theme of the two words getting thrown together to kind of create something else, and I loved it, man. Again, it just giving you a better idea of how this world's going to develop and what we can expect. And as per usual, I guess as per usual, or once again, it's pure nonsense.
Yeah, and I agree. It. And just like with every chapter, it's always going to be dialogue heavy. Where we're introduced to the world, like, oh, this is that, like, oh, this is this. Like, oh, here's your risk communicator. Like, okay, so
yeah, here's your cell phone. Basically, that's basically. Yeah, exactly. Which I don't know. I love it. I love these introduction chapters because they come in early enough where you don't feel, I guess, you're lagging on information. It's like, okay, it's chapter 4. Boom, I'm giving you better picture of the world. Even Nana. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, so I don't want to get I guess too far ahead. But when they're in the restaurant, right? He makes the note. Oh, I have to go to headquarters. So now there's an organization. So you're like, okay, cool. There's some sort of people who govern all this craziness. Awesome. So he's gonna go check that out. That's the next thing I'm learning about. I'm gonna focus here now again, and that's nice because it already tells you more world building's coming, but it's just kind of being it's not all getting thrown at you at once. It's going to be sparsed out, like as they kind of learn about the world, which is
No,
cool, or at least characters interact with the world.
and that's a pretty good transition going towards the chat, like going into more to the chapter where like they're talking on the table, while eating these food, material, themes, I guess, right? And we learn more about the what do you call it? Not the Bill Kings, the Bill Masters. Were the ones those are the ones that build the Bill Kings, and that's what Kantanchi wants to be, and also you assume Ringa too.
Yeah, well, I would like to think so. That's kind of been the whole idea, right? Is they want to take part in the make a build king. So I would assume that they're both trying to become build masters. But obviously, I don't know if we're ever going to see Tonkatchi become one in the sense of he actually makes a house. To be honest, I
Yeah.
could see that not happening because again, in Toriko, there's a very clear role of the chef and the hunter kind of thing, and I know that's not exactly the dynamic that's going on here, but again, it seems that Tonkatchi's themes are more focused on inanimate
Yeah.
building than actual building.
No, I agree with that. Well, I think he will eventually has to, because again, there is the organization. Looks like you need like a license, so there's going to be something like that where like we need to take our license course and stuff like that, where so we could be officially like builders and stuff like that instead of coming off from like a monster island, right?
Yeah, well, that's why they're gonna have they gotta build the house, right? Which already made me worried for Tonkatchi. I was like, oh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
not good.
like I could imagine, like I could put money on it, man. There would probably be like a tournament test to get your license, and there's a whole bunch of other people at the same time. Oh man, you can't build a house, like, but you could build hearts or whatever. I don't know, man.
No, I
So,
getcha, I getcha.
and I'm a fan of like the joke that Nana can't drink, so that's pretty funny.
I just love I love when the serious face is contrasted with, the dorkiness of that, you
Yeah,
know.
not
And I like his, I guess, catchphrase, if you will, the I say. It's so dumb, but it's just funny.
I
Like
agree.
I can just get behind it. So yeah, Nana ends up getting drunk. They leave him at the bar. They go out to explore, and then the identity of the glowing eyes from the previous chapter are revealed. And it's
And now
really
we're
weird
going. Yeah,
because
I thought it was sentient houses. Not really, no.
they're giant people living in houses, I
As
guess,
armor.
as armor. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess that's like their house, and it's a half robot house that they use to stealth on things. I don't know. I'm very confused because why is the house beast a house, but then the people are houses? I'm
Well,
so confused.
these are just really big people, which I can believe. I'm like, sure, why not, right? Of
So what?
course.
People like enter them and then they just rob them.
Yeah.
Interesting, but why would you enter the house? I guess
Yeah, I
is
don't
what
know.
I
It's
don't
a free
understand.
house. I don't know, man. It's a world. People found houses as fish.
But do you see okay, I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Like I
so
saw
they
it more. I saw it more like, oh, these are like their armor. But they're just like
I
shit.
guess that's fair. So much for their armor though. They're
Yeah.
basically the three little piggies, you
Oh,
know.
for sure. They're like crap houses, man. The way Kantashi just like demolishes them like nothing. Like, oh, yeah.
It's also very funny because it's House Beast, House Bandits. You know, what else are we gonna see? Is there gonna be a house fruit or a house seed that
Just
plants a certain type of house?
yeah, or like, oh man, it's a skyscraper spear. You know what I mean? So definitely gonna be that, and make it this world already kind of sees like, oh man, there's some pretty big people, like physically large, already introduced in this world. So
Yeah, that's true. I guess the house eaters. Oh yeah, house eaters. How did I forget about that? Those
no,
guys are big too. But again, everything so far can't really stand up to Tonkatchi, right? We see the 10-meter NATO just blitzing through those. Again, kind of like a three little piggy situation, right? And then I guess it's funny because he defeats them and then they kind of get pissed off, right? Because he says he wants to build peace.
yeah,
And they're like, well, how can you build peace? And then they end up making crazy good houses for these guys.
yeah. Ringa
So
rebuilds them their houses, which they're like, oh man, they look pretty. They definitely look nicer, and they joke on their own like, oh man, our old shabby thing was nothing compare. So I
it's
do
funny.
like the upgrade. But yeah, it's just like, okay, so there's people in this world that have houses as armor, which I was like not expecting, if I'm being honest.
No, I would agree.
Like they're basically giant pagoda mechs. Like I don't know, like it's just yeah. So
it's just funny, right? There's the fact that everything revolves around houses, but again, it comes back to this idea of Tonkatsu trying to build peace, even if it's for bad guys or house bandits who, portray themselves as houses. It's again, maybe it's a little corny, but it's just funny, and it's trying to show, like, I guess, equality too, right? It's like, all right, we'll give the bandits what they deserve. Make their lives a little easier. Maybe they won't be evil anymore or something like that, and then with them kind of taken care of, now we're getting introduced to, I don't even know.
Or leader. So
Yeah, well, sorry, she's their leader, but I don't know. I'm confused by the hair. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
no,
it's
she's
because
upside
it's
down.
actually standing like that, or do
I
you
think
think it's just that she's upside down?
it's more like she's upside down.
Okay, just making sure because I don't know. How many times can characters be upside down in a manga, but their hair is still the same way?
Oh no, for sure. But
So
I wouldn't be surprised if it stays up like that, But I think it's, I think it's upside down. Honestly, I didn't even think about it, being honest. I was just like, oh, okay, she just.
I don't know. It was something about the hair, man. I was just like, yo, this is so weird. I'm like, what
I
is
wouldn't be
this? Like,
surprised.
you
I
made
wouldn't
a
be.
bowl on the inside. It's like a reverse bowl cut.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Um,
And what's
uh,
interesting is, like, she has blueprints. So apparently, maybe there's difficulty to read blueprints in this world, because that's one thing we haven't really talked about. Like, okay, so and that's actually might be the next thing we'll see, obviously, in the next chapter. Like, oh, these are blueprints to a strong house or something like that. Kind of similar to, like, maybe a treasure map, because maybe you need like a or
interesting.
or just straight up like a blueprint, but you need these materials, and there's your quest.
I'm also. I'll take it to integrate it. I think more into the world. I think what you're saying is possible, but I think that would be more for build kings. Would probably be like ancient sort of blueprints that could only be read by high level architects. And then architects would be
Mm.
another role in this universe, and they specifically design and read blueprints. Or maybe
Well,
they specifically design. So there were
well,
like ancient architects who could make those build kings.
you think the blueprints is because, like, the reason they're stealing materials because you need certain amount of material to build these, and like that's why they're stealing.
Well, I don't think they're the bandits or
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, that's very possible. Sorry.
'cause,
But
it's
actually doesn't she say she has them? Does she say
oh,
she has the materials?
she has the blueprints, but, like, I'm just saying, like, to, like, let's say it's kind of like similar to, like, a quest line, like,
I've got the building plans. Can you read blueprints?
yeah,
Um
and that's it, and it's the whole jerk of, like, how does she not know she's upside down? And they show, so such a Japanese, comedy thing.
Yeah, anyways, yeah, so or anyway, that's just
Yeah.
kind of the end of that one. We'll probably see Tonkatsu struggle with trying to construct a house next week or even reading blueprints. We don't even know if actually Shovel taught them how to read blueprints. It's very possible that everything Renga's built has been improvised the entire time. So that'll be interesting to see what other
Well,
skills they
I
have.
I think they were taught pretty good, because he gave him the hammer and that, so.
But leaving a kid a weapon on an island versus teaching him how to read. Well, I guess there were other, homes. There's probably a school on
No,
that
but, like,
island. There's a whole village
and
there.
we know from the beginning, from the first chapter, where, like, Shovel was like, "I taught you everything I know. I'm about to be out. You got 3 years. Bye."
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
he definitely didn't teach them everything he knows, but yeah, I gotcha.
So there's definitely gonna be a lot of instances of, like, "Oh, man, I remember when Master, boom, I know how to do this," and stuff like that, so for sure.
Oh yeah, a lot of flashback moments applying.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Anything you want to get in before we move on?
Other than that, I enjoyed the chapter. It was cool. Like, every chapter is probably gonna be world building. Let's be honest with, especially, like, it's new to us as readers, and also, like,
Mm-hmm.
with these, like, protagonists going into this new world where they've only been at one place. So it's gonna be pretty fun to, like, where we're going, who, like, what new character, what new, like, I don't know, job, essentially. Other than that, I know this is gonna be kind of ridiculous. I actually, the Bill King's logo is, where it says King, you see the hammer and the eyes, like, getting nailed. So I
Oh,
just realized
okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I never realized that
That
until
would
now.
make a lot of sense too. So
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
I think that's, like, a nice little logo for the series. But other than that, Pretty good chapter. You know, I'm excited for the next one. It's just like another info dump, and I think I'm gonna get used to that. So
If it's done well and there's at least enough going on, and
yeah,
again, we're still in the early stages of building up said world, so yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes.
it's definitely moving along.
Agreed.